So, ladies, I have another question for you. Who makes better parents, men or women? I'll just let you guys answer real quick because we kind of talked about this just now. Who makes better parents? After all the facts I just gave you, who makes the best parents, men or women?
I honestly think it's a team effort.
It should be a team
now,
effort.
let's say there's a
like the leading household thing.
Ladies, you guys are politically correct. Okay. If there's a single father and a single mother, who's more likely to raise a better kid? The mom or the dad?
Mom.
The mom. You're talking with your feelings right now, by the way. The mom or the dad?
The dad.
The dad. What about you?
I can't say. I won't answer that.
Because you know.
No.
Because you know.
Because I really.
If I could read your mind, I guarantee you're thinking about the dad. Because you know that the fathers are more strict and they deal with discipline a little bit different.
No, I mean each parent can offer something.
Look, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. That's what I can tell you.
Asked me, and
okay.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. That's fair. So you don't know. What about you?
In my personal experience, I would say women because I grew up with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and my brother grew up with my dad, and he is not a good person.
I get that.
You know, so I think it really depends, but I do think.
But remember, we're speaking in general.
In general, I do think men would do a better job because of that whole scare or like disappointment factor. Like, there's no offense.
Okay.
I disappoint my dad.
I feel like
it's hard. Like it crushes my soul sometimes when I just sit there and I'm like, damn, my dad's really disappointed in me right now.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But also, okay.
But I don't know. I was scared to death of my mama.
Yeah. Okay. What about you? What do you think, men or women?
Actually, I think it's a team job because if
I understand that. It look, in a perfect world, I would want it to be a team job.
Listen.
But if you had to choose,
can I say please? Mm-hmm. I think it's a team job because if a kid doesn't have mother or father,
speaking to the mic, please.
Yeah, the child which doesn't have mom, yeah, he gonna have mommy issues or the opposite daddy issues, and it's life trauma.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that. I'm saying, who's gonna raise a better? Look, listen.
No,
this is the double standard. Nobody cares about the feelings of a guy. I have a shit ton of worries and nobody cares about my feelings. I promise you that. I could go on TikTok right now, make a crying video. Nobody's going to care. As a matter of fact, they're going to talk shit about me. Okay? Men are going to dog me and women are going to dog me. It's a lose-lose for guys. So I'm saying in general, who's going to make a better parent? The guy or the woman or the man?
If you had to pick one, you got to pick one, ladies.
I feel like the mom would be a better parent to a son.
Who's going to... Okay, how about this? Who would raise a better... Who would raise a better... who would raise a better person for society? A mom or a dad? Mom. Okay, because you guys are nice, right? And you guys are all loving and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
True. More nurturing, right? Empathetic, right? Yes. Okay, cool. You know what happens to men that are very emotional and go and typically get raised by mothers? School shooters, people that commit crimes, people in prison, rapists, murderers. Like you name it.
Because they were coddled. Literally because mothers coddled their children.
They're also the guys that you ladies don't want to date.
Exactly.
The ones that you keep
abusers, domestic violence.
Or feminine men, as she was saying earlier, feminine men, those are typically the guys. Look, I was raised by my mom and I wouldn't say I was feminine, but I always thought the woman's right. The woman's right.
Yeah.
Because I was always around women.
Yeah.
So I was always on the women's side all the time.
And listen, and there's another thing
with girls.
There's another thing that happens too when you're raised with women. You become feminine by nature.
Right.
Because you're around so much feminine energy that you have no choice but to adapt to that. Right? You're not a very manly guy. You're more feminine. Yeah. It's just the way it is. It's not like it's designed to be on purpose. It's just the way it is. It's like if you hang around, if you're a baby and you were raised by wolves, you're going to be more likely to act like a wolf. That's just the way it is, right? Now, the thing is, when women raise kids, they do a good job of like nurturing and loving and coddling. But what happens is when a kid grows up and goes into the real world, he gets slapped because nobody cares for them the way the mother's going to care for them. No one's going to feel sorry for them the way that the mom does. No one's going to be understanding. No one's going to want to help you out the way mom does. And then people just lose it because they're like, yo, why is the world so tough?
Yeah. And ladies, when you see a feminine guy, you're not attracted to him. And just like when I see a masculine woman, she's dressed like a dude or whatever, like it's just a turnoff. It's just a natural instinct. Like, no, I need her to be pretty, have long hair, have a nice
So-
body. Like it's a nature thing.
Yeah,
It's a nature thing.
from the age of 0 to 7, I was raised by mostly women, and I was very emotional because of it. Very, very emotional. And it wasn't because I wanted to be that way. It's just, from the ages of 0 to 7, it's literally when a kid is learning the most.
Right.
You're literally learning how to be as an adult, right? And so I saw nothing but emotions. Like, women just act off emotions. I'm mad right now. Like, my girlfriend does it sometimes. She's mad, boom, not talking. Don't give a fuck. I'm mad. I'm like, yo, listen, like, what's bothering you? Let's talk about it. Nope, I'm mad. It's just the way it is. It's just emotion. I'm logical. Okay, cool. What's bothering you? How can I solve it?
And ladies, here's another problem you wanna understand. Men who are emotional, when we get mad, we get violent.
Yeah.
So if I'm raised by my mom and I'm this emotional guy, now I'm gonna wanna shoot something or hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So when a woman is raised to be emotional, there's no school shooter women, not really, right? But when we're raised to be emotional, that emotion changes to anger.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys that you see in these bad neighborhoods in LA or Chicago or whatever it be, no matter what hood or what race you are, when we say single moms are raising them, it's you have the aggression and the strength of a man.
Yeah.
But you have the emotion of a woman.
Yeah.
So when it comes out,
so
he talked about my shoes. Oh, he took my girl. Oh, they start shooting
Okay,
people.
I have a question.
Speaking to
So-
the mic, please.
So you think that like a little kid, like a boy, should be raised by like their dad, like if the parents were split, right?
Mhm.
That's what you guys are saying.
I think both. But if
If you have to choose,
if I had to choose, both girls and boys, I think should be raised by their dad over their mom. Yes,
both.
both.
If I had a choice.
Yeah, because it's just
If I had
about one thing. It's not because it's not for anything else other than just the fact of respect. That's it.
That they have more respect for
that's
your
it.
dad.
That's I'm not. Other than that, I think we're pretty much equal. I'm
agree.
just saying that
I agree.
it's just a respect thing, right?
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
self-respect and being able to respect people will take you far in life. But that's the one thing that I hate to say it. Women don't really care to teach that to other people. I mean, to their kids. They care. Okay, well, my kid is good. My kid is taken care of. He has food. I worked 80 hours this week to make sure that we have a house. But who's teaching them respect? Nobody. Definitely not the schools. Definitely not their friends. There's no father in the house. So who's teaching the kids respect?
I don't think it's that the mother doesn't want to teach them respect. It's she doesn't know how to implement that, especially for boys. Like
Again, it comes back to
the father is the one who is supposed to set the tone on how you are supposed to be. Like the dad is the head of the household. Like you're supposed to look up to him. He's supposed to be right under God. Like
right. So you agree with what I'm saying?
I do, yeah, 100%.
I mean, it sucks because a lot of women will come to the show. They know what I'm saying is right, but they don't want to go against the grain. Like they don't want to go against other women and be like, yeah, you're right. Like fathers are most likely to implement discipline and mothers are more likely to let things. And here's another thing too. While the woman is working 80 hours to make sure that all the bills are paid and they have a roof over their heads, she also is trying to find out if she can get a partner. She's also trying to have a social life. Like it's just different, right? So, and then also now you're putting your kids at risk. Now, what type of guys are you bringing around? A lot of times, I hate to say this, but like kids usually get abused by their mother's boyfriends. The people that should be protecting them. And so, are my kids less likely to get abused around me? Absolutely, because most women don't want to abuse kids, if we're being honest. And even if there is a woman that preys on kids, she knows the father's around. They had this interview with this guy who was like a serial child molester, and they literally asked him questions like, yo, how did you choose like which kids? And one of the main things that he would say is, I would go for single mothers. Like if there was a single mother, I knew that was an easy kid to get to because there's no father to protect them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like this is common sense stuff, and I don't understand. Women come in here, they're like, oh, mothers, and I'm like, the numbers don't lie, ladies.
But I mean,
Speaking to the mic, please.
Mothers can be predatory. Mothers can be predatory too, but I think they are.
Small percentage though.
You don't know that though, because I
do
feel
know the
like
numbers say that.
I feel like people are more easily to question a man if they do it, but not a woman.
I agree with you.
Like they're less likely to believe it.
I
That's
agree.
what I believe.
You're right. Like like women can kind of get away with it better because they're not going to be suspected as much.
Yeah, and the
But
man
you're always-
doesn't believe like, my woman wouldn't do that. It's just
The problem is that you're always arguing for the small minority. Like,
Yeah,
and you just told me, you're like, you don't know that, but I study the numbers. I'm telling you, like, most child molesters and rapists are men. It's not women.
But I've watched things. I don't know. I've just seen things where a woman also can be. So I just cannot agree with you. If I
said I agree with you. I'm saying I agree with you. You're right, but you're arguing for the small minority. Like you're arguing, like that's like me. That's like if someone was like, oh, you know, you can't go to the moon, and I'm like, but yeah, someone has gone to the moon, and they're like, okay, yeah, but that's a small percentage, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but it happened.
Okay,
it happened.
That's
like
the way. Okay, that's fine, but that's just the way I, you know.
Well, again, you're arguing for the minority, and I'm saying, and I'm speaking in general. Like most women aren't going to molest kids. Most women aren't going to want to because women just don't have that. The numbers don't lie. That's all I can say.
I'm sorry, being in the medical field, I see things, and then that's why.
So, what do you think the percentage is?
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's just
but
like
you think
when
it's
you
the minority,
say things,
right?
it just automatically in my head just goes like he's just speaking for
in general.
everybody.
I'm speaking in general though. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm saying in general, in the whole world population.
No, but
it's just things that I've seen. I just can't say that. That's all I'm
understand that.
saying.
But again,
So you don't agree in general? That's what it is.
But can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Into the mic, please.
Sorry, were you fortunate enough to grow up with both your mom and your dad?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so I kind of agree with him because I come from a split family.
Mhm.
I was raised by my mom.
Mhm.
Although I feared my mom, I feared the God out of my mom. But if my dad would have been more present than what he was than just every other weekend and alternating holidays, I would probably have more self-discipline in my life. And I would probably be in a lot different situation than what I'm in now.
Mhm.
So I count, like, my experience is the majority that he's talking about. Not everybody, but the majority has experiences like me. Not everybody's fortunate like you to have both parents.
Right. And that's why I'm probably more speaking on my experiences, you know, because you guys could agree more because you
but
have
see,
similar,
that's the thing. I'm not talking about your
saying,
experiences. I'm saying in general. And
well,
you're,
I
and
didn't
you're
know
like,
in general most fathers aren't present. So
you didn't know in general that most fathers aren't present in their kids' lives?
Yeah.
Oh, you grew up in a good neighborhood.
Yeah. Where you? Oh, you're from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're from.
We believe in.
You're from the country. What part of Alabama?
Mobile.
Okay. See,
Mobile,
you're from the like. Even then, even there it happens. It just doesn't
I'm not
happen.
saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying,
I'm from the country.
You know, just getting a different point of view.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
I
guys
get you.
speak from yours, and I'm gonna, speak from mine.
I get it.
What
It's just I don't sit like I'm not sitting here talking about my personal experiences. When I say that most men are predatory over women, like I'm just saying in general, from what I've learned through life, from what I've studied, from the numbers I've looked at, most men are the ones that are.
I think that's
harming
like common
kids.
sense.
I thought so too, but
I don't know. Like I wouldn't think like a woman would have that initial thought over a man ever.
Well, I'm just surprised that she said that she didn't know that most dads weren't present because I thought that was also like a.
Yeah, I thought that was just common knowledge.
Yeah, I thought
because
that
she grew with a good family. Because I didn't grow up with my dad, so it makes sense to me. I agree with what you're saying because I didn't grow so close to my dad, but obviously to her, she didn't know because she grew with a good family and she was fortunate to have like both parents.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like no one in my family had cancer, but that's like saying that a lot of people have cancer. Like that's common knowledge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
you were just fortunate enough not to have to go through that.
I'm just more saying, it's also good to hear other perspectives because a woman can be predatory. But that's not what we talk about. And so we were just more referring a child should stay with the dad because a boyfriend, it's more likely for them to be predatory. But I was just saying, like, there has been situations where a child is with their father and the woman does things and they're less likely to believe it.
I agree.
So that.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're saying, but that's the minority and the exception can't make the rule.
Right.
What?
The exception can't make the rule because that's the minority of what you're speaking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the exception can't make the rule.
And we're saying we agree with you.
I agree with you. Yeah,
and I'm not saying you guys are wrong. It's just good. I mean, I just feel like if I have, something to say for, the minority.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, but then you can't really make an argument because then if you said something like you think the sky is red and I think it's blue, then and everyone else thinks it's blue. Who's right?
Yeah, but the sky is blue. I'm just talking about more of just, because I
All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
don't think it's talked
Yeah,
about.
We're dragging it.
And I